summer and transitioning slowly into the fall and all of the movement and energy that comes with that. But funny enough, the thing about fall is that it's actually a time when we are meant to be slowing down. Even though lives seem to pick up after the summer again, we have all these old responsibilities coming back, we have maybe new activities we're picking up on. And so we're pushing against the energy of what fall is actually meant to be teaching us, the lessons fall is meant to be teaching us. So this practice is meant to tap into the fall lessons a bit, the energy of fall, and seeing if we can start to slow down, start to settle in. We had summer, and then we transitioned slowly into fall, and so now it's time to get comfortable with slowing down. As uncomfortable as it is, trust me, for me, when I have to slow down, my body is like, what do you mean? And I've mentioned this in one of my newsletters, but similar to spring energy, where there's this like desire to all of a sudden burst forward and do all of these things because spring is here and warmer weather. And so we just like kind of go for it. Fall's very similar, but a little bit in the opposite direction, because we are almost like resisting the inevitable slowdown that is eventually winter. No. So this is a practice to help us slow down, even just a little bit, to get comfortable in just being and just resting and learning how to settle in a little bit and allow us to just be here, be with ourselves, tune in, tap in. Because with the slowing down, it actually supports us in the transitions, in the changes, in the inevitable rest that will come in the winter. And slowing down also gives us a chance to check in, mind, body, everything, so that we can say, how do I actually want to approach this? Rather than moving forward with quick reactions and kind of like a lot of frenetic energy. Instead, the slowing down gives us a chance to just pause, tune in, say, what's going on here? And then make some decisions based on that. So how we're going to do this today is I'm going to guide us through a gentle breathing practice that's just going to start to like soften the body a little bit, get settled in a little bit. And then we're going to do a few restorative poses, which are going to be very gentle. We'll hold them for a longer period of time. And what I'd like to encourage you to do is the meditation breathing practice that we're going to do, more breathing than meditation. I want you to take that with you into the poses. So that way you're continuing to use each pose to settle in even more, soften your body a little bit more, getting comfortable with just being and resting. And that's really going to be it. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. We're only going to do about 4 or 5 poses, holding them for about just a few minutes at a time, just to see your comfort level in slowing down. Okay? All right. So I'm going to come back here to my usual space. Before I get us into the meditation, the breathing practice, I call it meditation, but it really is just breathing. I want to give you some options for props. So I have a rolled up blanket here. This is going to be used for our first pose. I'm sitting on my bolster, but as you know, you can grab a stack of pillows if you'd like, 1 pillow, 2 pillows, or if you have a bolster, grab your bolster. And then I have 2 blocks with me that we will be using for one of our poses, potentially other poses if you need the extra support. If you don't have blocks, find something similar like some heavy books or anything else that can provide this kind of solid support. Cool. Okay, let's get started. So find yourself in a comfortable seat. If you prefer to be seated on the ground beneath you, go ahead and put your bottom on the ground. I prefer to be propped up for these kinds of breathing practices, mindfulness practices. Okay, great. So find yourself in a seat, one that is feeling comfortable, with your spine long, your head reaching towards the space above you, your bottom feeling grounded in the space beneath you. Placing your hands somewhere comfortable on your lap. If you prefer to have your feet out in front of you, go ahead and do that. You can even bring your feet together, butterfly pose. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, gently start to close your eyes. If you prefer to keep your eyes open, just keep your gaze soft and at a space in front of you so that you're not so distracted by the space around you. I'm going to close my eyes for this part. So from here, we're going to first start to orient ourselves to the space around us, to slowly begin the settling in process. Noticing any sounds, the sound of my voice perhaps, noticing the temperature of the room on your skin or the texture of your clothes underneath your hands. Maybe noticing the light shining through your eyelids if your eyes are closed. And then gently bringing your awareness to your physical body, noticing the points of contact your body makes with the surface beneath you, whether that's the bolster you're sitting on, the pillows, the floor. Noticing your hands coming in contact with your legs. If your back is seated up against a surface, like a chair, noticing how your back feels against the surface. And then slowly bringing your awareness inward towards your breath, your natural state of breathing. We aren't changing anything here. We're just noticing, observing your body as it breathes. As we take in air through the nose and release air out of the nose. Noticing any sensations in your body that might be coming up. Noticing how the breath feels in your lungs and in your chest and the rest of your body. Just noticing, being an observer. Getting comfortable with settling in a little bit more into your body. So as you breathe here, I'm going to briefly explain what we're going to do with our breathing practice. So we're going to take some nice deep belly breaths that fill up the diaphragm. I hope you've watched one of my videos about learning how to breathe, so we'll fill with an inhale the diaphragm, this low part of the belly, just beneath the rib cage, above the belly button, and letting the air, as you inhale, travel up into the lungs and really fill the lungs. So we'll do that 3 times. And then after that, we're going to see if we can expand the breath out to the rest of our body and really experience the air filling up the whole body, the whole breath filling every part of our body, imagining it, feeling it, and then as you exhale, seeing if the body can soften into this space, into this practice. Getting comfortable with slowing down and just being present. So take one nice deep inhale, just without trying to do anything special. And then exhale everything out of the mouth. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose, letting the air fill up the diaphragm and letting the air travel up into the lungs, into the chest. And then exhaling everything out through the nose, releasing the air out of the chest and then out of the diaphragm. Doing that 2 more times, inhaling through the nose, filling up the diaphragm, letting the air travel up through the lungs, the chest, expanding the chest open. And then releasing everything out with an exhale through the nose. 1 more time, breathing in through to the diaphragm, really filling it up with air like a balloon, filling up, letting the air travel up into the lungs and expanding the chest. And then exhale everything out. Coming back to your natural breath for a moment after this last exhale. Seeing how you feel, checking in with your body, checking in with your mind, your emotions. Taking another nice inhale in through the nose again. Nothing special, just a nice deep inhale through the nose and then letting everything out of the mouth with a nice sigh. And then we'll start to breathe in again deeply, but this time as we inhale, imagine the breath filling the whole body. So really imagine, feel your breath expanding throughout your whole body, filling up every nook and cranny that you have. And then as you exhale out of the mouth or the nose, see if you can soften your body a little bit more. Noticing the muscles kind of like melt and soften and release out as you exhale. Doing that another time, breathing in, expanding the body, filling up the body with your breath. And as you exhale, releasing everything out, releasing, settling, letting go, softening. Doing that 1 more time, really filling up the body with your breath, expanding, noticing all the parts of your body being filled with air, and then letting everything go, letting everything soften as you do that. Then after this exhale, coming back to your natural breath, noticing how you feel. Checking in with your body, checking in with your mind, your emotions. Slowly noticing your body on the surface beneath you again, bringing some movement into your body, this gentle movement. And then when you're ready, starting to open your eyes. And this brings us to our movement practice. So as I mentioned, we are going to do a few restorative poses that are very gentle, very passive. You really just have to lay in them. Like, how much easier could it really get? Of course, if something feels uncomfortable in your body and I don't offer you a specific adjustment for that, please do whatever you need to make the position feel comfortable for you, or find your own position that you can still allow yourself to be settled and comfortable in. Okay, and as I mentioned before as well, we're going to be using the same breathing practice within the poses. So as we inhale, really letting the body fill up with air, and as you soften, letting that exhale calm the body, settle into the pose a little bit more and relax. So our first pose, we are going to need a rolled up blanket. So something a little bit less big, smaller than a bolster, just so it's not as intense for your body. I'm going to move my bolster a little to the side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the blanket that's rolled up, and we're going to slowly place it underneath the shoulder blades, like a little bit at the shoulder blades, so that when your head comes back, there is a bit of arch in your upper back, but comfortable enough that you can rest your hands out to the side. I'll put my hands here so you can see them. And I have my feet out in front of me. Do some adjusting just so you can get comfortable. My head is touching my couch, so I'm going to move up a little bit, but make whatever adjustments you need. If this feels too intense for you, you can either flatten the blanket a little bit more, but still to offer just like a little sense of opening in the chest. That's essentially what we're looking for. So settle in. Start to take some breaths. See if you can inhale and fill up the body with your air, with your breath. And then as you exhale, see if your body can soften just a little bit deeper into the pose. You can keep your hands rested like me, one hand on your chest, one hand on your low belly. You can keep them out at your sides, finding what feels best for you. And just resting here, we'll stay here for 10 breaths. See if you can allow yourself to soften a little bit more, become a little bit more comfortable in resting, in slowing down in this pose. Noticing your facial muscles, seeing if they're tense and letting those soften. Start to wiggle your feet and your toes and your fingers. To come out of this pose, you're going to gently roll to your side. Pause for just a moment, placing your hand on the floor, resting your head on the arm closest to the ground, and then gently pushing yourself up to a seat. Okay. Then from here, we're going to do a few twisting poses. Really just one twisting pose, but both sides. So let's see, how can I best show this to you? So from here, maybe on the side, I'm just kind of going to be all over the place today. All right, from here, you'll take your bolster or your blanket or your blocks, whichever you prefer, whatever you have available to you. And first you'll come down with your head on the ground, your back on the ground, your feet on the ground. In front of you, your legs bent, knees pointing upwards. And just take a moment to take a nice breath here. And then when you're ready, gently let your legs fall over to the left side. If you'd like, you are more than welcome to bring your legs all the way to the ground, as far as they can go. Your arms can be stretched out, or in cactus arms, or even resting on your body. If this feels a little bit too intense for you, or you'd prefer to prop up your legs just to make it a much more gentler pose, I just put my bolster underneath my left knee. And I'll hold here for 10 breaths. Again, remembering to fill in the body with air, expanding the body. And as you exhale, seeing if you can soften in just a little bit more into the pose, into your practice, into your body. Really letting your body soften on the exhales, settling in more and more with each exhale. Okay. Then when you're ready, slowly bringing your legs back to bent position with your feet on the ground, your knees pointing upwards. Taking a moment to just adjust if you need to. Notice how your body feels for a moment here. And then we'll move to the other side. So stay where you're at. I'm just going to turn so I can make this better. A better visual for you. So we'll do the same thing. Feet on the ground, knees pointed up, bolster available, and then when you're ready, slowly letting your legs fall off to the right side. And again, if you prefer to have your legs fall all the way to the ground, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm kind of enjoying this this supported twist. It's not asking too much of my body, but yet still feels nice and relaxing, and I do feel a gentle twist in my body. Another 10 breaths in this pose. Again, inhaling through the nose and letting the air really fill up your whole body, letting it travel throughout your whole body as it fills with air. And then as you exhale, letting your body soften. Settle in a little bit deeper, almost like you're sinking into the pose. Softening facial muscles, releasing any tension that you can on each exhale as you soften even more. A few more breaths. And then gently bringing your knees back up to the upright position with your feet firmly on the ground. Moving the bolster out of the way. And then again to coming to one side. And then gently pushing yourself up. Okay. Now we are going to do a nice supported butterfly pose. So we'll have our feet together. Ooh, I'm feeling more relaxed already. So feet will be together. I think it's best if I actually just move to the side here. So feet are together. I like to put a bolster behind my back. So I like to keep about a fist's width distance between my low back and the bolster. And I will lay back. So it offers an opening both in the legs and in the upper chest. If this feels too intense for you, you can place a block underneath your bolster to prop you up a little bit. And the opening doesn't feel as intense because you're not asking your chest to open so much. So you could either do this or coming down onto the bolster without the block. Or if you'd like, you could actually rest your entire back on the ground as well. I'm enjoying this, but I also wanted to offer one more variation. So what I'll actually do is I'll stack up this blanket. There we go. And then what I like to do when I'm doing a restorative butterfly pose, or legs open, feet touching, is I also put blocks underneath my knees. This way the opening doesn't feel as intense in the legs either. Oh, this feels so nice. So, blocks underneath the knees. If you prefer, you can even like put them up at a higher position so it's really a gentle opening. I'm going to put them on their flatter, lowest angle. Hands resting at your side or on your belly and your chest. And then letting your body settle in for 10 breaths. As you inhale through your nose, really filling up the whole body with your breath. And as you exhale, seeing if you can soften the body. Let your tension melt away, settle into the pose, into your body. See if you can bring your chin actually just a little bit closer towards your chest. It allows for an opening in your cervical spine here at the top. Okay. So to come out of this pose, remove whatever, well, actually, just gently guide your knees back towards each other, pointing upwards. Bringing your chin a little bit closer towards your chest and see if you can gently push yourself up. And then we will move into one of our final poses. So we are going to do child's pose, which is one of the more restful positions in yoga practice. It's typically something that comes after a really intense practice of some sort. So move again to the side. So what you'll do is you'll take your pillows, your bolster, whatever you might be using as a support, and you're going to come to a seated position on your heels, your legs wide enough open that the bolster fits between you. And then when you're ready, you will gently start to come onto the bolster, laying one cheek on the bolster, choosing left or right. If this feels a little bit too intense for you, we can use our block to raise the bolster up. Makes it a little bit easier here. If your knees are starting to bother you, you can even, let's see if that was good. Yeah, you can put your blanket in between. Okay. I'm going to stay like this, but please find your own adjustments that feel good for you. And then begin to breathe into the pose, breathe into your body. In this pose, see if you can notice the breath in your back rib cage, your low back, and see how the breath feels as you fill the back body with air. See what happens while you try to release tension, settle in even more in here. If some of these poses feel uncomfortable, see if you can move through it, breathe through it. But of course, if it becomes painful at any point, you'll take yourself out of the pose. At your fifth breath, just gently move your head to rest on your other cheek. I'll stay the same just to face you, but turn your cheek. See what you notice in your body as you settle in more. Okay, and then gently using your hands to push you up, moving the bolster out of the way. And now for one of the most relaxing poses in yoga. Is Shavasana, which is just laying on the ground and allowing your body to rest, and we'll end here. So feel free to let the video, to lay as long as you'd like. I will end the practice, but you stay as long as you want in all of the poses really. But here, stay, rest, settle in, and just allow yourself to slow down. So you will just find yourself on the ground. If you like, you can even move your glutes a little bit and find a comfortable place to put your hands. The typical pose is to have your hands out, your feet splayed wide open, your hands also out at your sides, facing the palms facing upwards. A slight tilt of the chin towards the chest to again open up that cervical spine at the top here of your neck. Oh yeah, if you want to do that, just take like a nice breath in and release everything out of the mouth. This pose is an opportunity for you to really tune in with your body, your mind, your emotional world inside, checking in and seeing how you feel. And beginning to breathe in through the nose, filling up the whole body, and exhaling to soften the body. Seeing if you can allow your body, invite your body to settle in even more with every exhale. With every release of breath, you release tension. You melt the body even further into the position. You settle into the ground here a little bit more with each exhale. The inhale fills up the body, expands the body, but the exhale allows you to slow and soften and settle. Almost imagine, as we head into fall, a leaf falling from a tree. This beautiful colored leaf coming to the ground. It's slow, it's gentle, it's even graceful. It's not really in a hurry to get to its final destination, which is the ground beneath the tree, but it lets itself be gently rocked by the wind, moving slowly through the air as it falls, settling, getting closer to the ground. And then once it reaches the ground, it releases and softens into the earth, settling in with the other leaves that have already reached the ground. Now to rest. Stay where you are. When you are ready to come out, you'll do the same position of rolling to one side, resting for a minute and taking a nice breath, gently pushing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Taking a nice breath in, maybe even stretching the body, your arms up, letting everything just soften down. And that's it. You practiced a little bit of slowing down today. I hope that when you do end your practice, that you feel a bit more relaxed, settled, calm, and ready to move through your day just a little bit more easefully and slowly, more intentionally, tuned in, checked in with your body, yourself. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I will see you soon.